A private contractor that appears to have been operating in Wisconsin as yet another divide and conquer strategy here in the Badger State, LogistiCare, a firm at the center of controversy and service complaints here in Wisconsin and across America, has announced that they are going to pack up, terminate their contract, and leave the state. And the reason they cite? The media has run too many reports about their operations, making the company look bad. Good riddance, LogistiCare. Those that provide public service with public dollars need to be accountable to the taxpayers and the citizens they serve. Evidently, LogistiCare does not think so. Their exit is good news for taxpayers and to those whose quality of life and life itself depends on reliable transportation to healthcare-related appointments. So who are the media sources that told the truth about LogistiCare, causing them to take their ball and run home whining like a child? No one in America has published more articles, blog posts, and video reports than Voices. We're not bragging, we're just pointing out some facts. Voices has been told by many citizens in Madison, Wisconsin, and even across America that it has been our reports that have shed light onto this scandal. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving is a major news dump day. Stories can be released that most Americans will not see. Thanksgiving in America is essentially a 4-day holiday. This year's Thanksgiving news dump was massive, including many important stories. In the Madison area, most are talking about radio station WTDY letting their entire staff go, including on-air personality and everyone supporting the programming. Reportedly, WTDY in the future will go to an all-sports programming lineup. As of right now, the day after Thanksgiving, they are playing Christmas carols. While there are other important stories, one of the biggest is about a story Voices has been flushing out since summer in our newspaper, online at www.madisonvoices.com, at our blog, www.madisonvoicesblog.com, and at Voices TV, www.madisonvoicestv.com. We did get the state's attention and actually national attention as well. LogistiCare has been at the center of a controversy for a massive privatization failure here in Wisconsin, but actually it's occurring in much of America as well. LogistiCare has been refusing to provide rides to some qualified participants in the Medicare programs, standing people up for other rides it supposedly arranged, leaving some people stranded without rides home at other appointments, and then threatening transportation providers if they express any concerns or tell the truth about what their experience is with the company. And try to report a service failure? Absolutely impossible. The phone system has been dysfunctional and transfers people from department to department after outrageously long hold times. Hold times that can approach an hour or more. Hired to transfer Medicaid and Badger Care Plus participants to medical appointments, LogistiCare is ending its $38 million a year contract with the state of Wisconsin effective February 17, 2013. The State Department of Health and Human Services announced LogistiCare's appointment the day before Thanksgiving by releasing letters from the Atlanta-based headquarters and Chief Executive Officer Herman Schwartz. Here's the story in a nutshell. In 2005, George W. Bush's budget repair bill did nothing to fix the structural budget deficit he had created. In fact, the Republican budget under George W. Bush continued to spiral out of control, resulting in some of the largest budget deficits in U.S. history. An extraordinary accomplishment because George W. Bush also took the costs of 2 unfunded wars off the books, hiding the true costs of our military from taxpayers. Bush's budget repair bill used an accounting trick to coerce states into privatizing certain services. But it did nothing to solve the massive budget deficits that his administration was responsible for, even though this created no savings to taxpayers at all. In fact, in Wisconsin it appears that this actually cost taxpayers more. Under the Bush law, if states privatize certain services, the brokerage of transportation for qualified Medicaid recipients, the feds gave states higher reimbursement rates, even if this did not save anyone any money at all. The Bush administration was bribing states to destroy necessary public services. The largest beneficiary of this scheme was Providence Service Corporation's LogistiCare. While former Governor Jim Doyle initiated this privatization in Wisconsin, the finalization of the contract, the implementation of the plan, and any and all necessary oversight was left to the Scott Walker administration, and specifically to a man who was recently identified as a target in an ongoing John Doe probe into the criminality that underlies Scott Walker's ascent to power. Kelly Rindfleisch, a convicted felon sentenced to 6 months jail time and 3 years probation, pleaded guilty to the felony of campaigning for Brett Davis on Milwaukee County taxpayers' dime. Davis was County Executive Scott Walker's preferred choice for lieutenant governor that year. It should not surprise anyone that within 24 hours of Assistant District Attorney Bruce Landgraf's revelations that Scott Walker and Brett Davis are targets in the ongoing John Doe probe, LogistiCare pulled up its stakes and is leaving the Badger State and will no longer provide brokerage for non-emergency medical transportation as of February 17, 2013. Everyone involved with bringing down a dysfunctional system where LogistiCare was paid $38 million a year whether they responsibly brokered any transportation services at all should celebrate. We've achieved something together. The LogistiCare business model, unbelievably, paid LogistiCare up front whether or not anyone got any rides at all. LogistiCare was able to increase its profits by denying rides, even to qualified people. But worse, the contract broke federal laws, state laws, and even inalienable constitutional rights granted by the U.S. and Wisconsin constitutions for fair hearings, fair redress of grievances. The contract claimed that only LogistiCare could hear and decide complaints and appeals, not acceptable public policy and not within the letter or intent of applicable laws. And while federal law demands that qualified members be taken to pharmacies when needed to pick up necessary medical supplies and medications, LogistiCare would not provide this service, even though they were paid money right up front to do so. Congratulations to everyone that helped tell this story, perhaps the voices directly, maybe at the Milwaukee hearings by the Senate committee providing oversight, or even among circles of friends. In this case, together we have made a difference, and that is our motto here at Voices. We are each other's most valuable resource. The fight is not over yet. One insider that knows most of the behind-the-scenes details of this mess has expressed concerns to us. LogistiCare is misrepresenting this situation as the state's fault for not providing data, and then blames the media for telling the truth about the story. Are they just manipulating the situation, abruptly leaving the Badger State to create more chaos, and then hijacking taxpayers for more money to take the contract back? A few things should be clear. It is never responsible public policy to privatize public services to companies that get paid whether they actually provide public services or not. It is never responsible public policy to grant politically connected companies state-certified monopolies to provide services with public dollars. And it is never responsible public policy to put state-certified monopolies exclusively in charge of monitoring and overseeing themselves.